Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
You know what? I'm sorry, Boog. We got some suggestions after the last podcast, and they said be nicer to Boog. So
Did they really?
yeah,
That's fucking insane.
I went back. I listened to that last one. I was a little bit harsh on you. I mean, it's not your fault that you're dumb.
Yeah, I take it as I sees it.
And I did come off as a little bit of a jerk. No, I'm not really that big of a jerk. Really. Just a little bit. Alright, so we're back. Episode 2. We got some notes on the last one. It was good to get that first one out there. It actually... I think we recorded...
a lot.
Yeah, I think we recorded it in August. And... there we go again with the ums. Recorded it in August, and basically we just had it. We just had it sitting there. It took a while for me to come up with the theme song because I don't know anything about playing like piano or anything like that, so I had to teach myself. So even if it's not good, like fuck you guys. It took forever.
Was there any piano even in it?
Yeah, it's like all synthesizer. It was actually like 4 notes, but still, it was tough when you don't know that kind of thing. And then just learning the software and figure out that there's actually a lot more that goes into the podcast. But I think we'll be up and rolling now. At least like get one out once a week, maybe little mini episodes, or if any like big horror news or anything comes out. But we got a better, solid game plan. Got some good notes. Got some notes right in front. You can't see it because this is a podcast, but I'm holding notes. We got notes.
I'm literally playing solitaire on my phone right now.
Come on, Bug, focus.
I'm participating.
Hope you lose.
How do you lose? I'm not that bad at solitaire. Oh, look at that! I'm winning.
There you go.
Do.
Whoa, you can't. The Rolling Stones have been known to sue people. You can't even be humming. You can't even be humming.
I know. Oh, that sucks.
I'll edit it out. Figured that part out too. Alright, so let's get to it. That was another part of our last one. We weren't really that focused. We were all over the place. But I think we got a game plan and we're gonna execute. You know what movie we went and saw, Bug?
Professor Sleep.
Dr. Sleep, you're close.
Oh.
What was the alternative name? The alternative name that we had for it? The Shining 2, Shine On.
Shine on.
Or Shinier.
Get your shine on.
If they make a third one, it could be the shiniest.
No, that's pretty shiny.
I'm hitting you next time I see you.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep, so anyway, we went and saw Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. Well, I guess... So it's that's something that we have to talk about. So it's basically a sequel to the original Shining. So it's based on the novel Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to the movie I'm even getting myself confused there. It's a sequel to. Sorry, my dog. No, sorry, my dog walked over and just was like brushed against me. But
Doctor Sleep is a sequel to the Shining.
In 2013, Stephen King wrote Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to his novel The Shining. But the movie at the same time is based upon that book, but also is a sequel to the movie Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, which had some variances from the initial book that Stephen King wrote that he didn't like, even though it's a masterpiece. So even explaining it's kind of, but somehow Mike Flanagan does a masterful job of blending the two. Like, if you were a betting man and you were going to bet that you could make heads or tails out of that, you would definitely take the under on that. That's my stone cold lock for the day. And if you did, you'd be wrong, because this movie was awesome. So we said we were going to be more...
That's it. It's awesome. That's it, folks.
Yeah, we said we were going to be more concise, more on point, not even synopsis. It's awesome. Go see it. All right, this has been a good one. Roll the music.
I'm Dylan Bugs, and thanks you for participating in what we got going on in my everyday boring life.
All right, we'll get into the synopsis, but yeah. Oh, I guess we didn't even say who we are, but
hi, I'm Dylan Bugs.
You said who you were. Oh man. All right. Well, this is John Hunter. That's me. It sounds like a fake name, but it's actually my real name. Worth a Google.
What comes up if you Google your name?
Actually, honestly, the truth, it's like a 18th century like doctor that like cut up, like exhumed bodies and cut them up and did experiments on them. So that's pretty.
John Hunter, FRS, was a Scottish surgeon, one of the most distinguished scientists and surgeons of his day. Well,
that was not me, but I actually am Scottish. I could technically be related to him, but anyway, let's get focused here. We're trying to keep this like hour-long episodes. The last one ballooned to like an hour and a half, and it was mostly just me saying and then clicking through pages like a damn jackass. So.
And I was whispering a lot. I was like, "Hey, don't fucking touch me, bro."
Yeah, it was pretty quiet, but I could have adjusted the audio levels, but I didn't because I was so sick of just having that episode that I wanted to put it out. But this one's gonna be better, I promise. If not, we'll never make another one.
Don't.
There's a lot
hopes.
riding on this.
Yeah, I got hopes.
A lot's happened since the last time that we've done an episode. Someone contacted me to review a movie. I put a review up on our blog page, which I don't remember the name of. I could take a look here.
The sins, the deadly sins.
The movie. I remember the movie. I was talking about our blog page, huntershorrorvision.wix. wixsite.com/horror.
You remember the name of we watched over a month ago, but you don't remember the name of your blog.
Well, I wanted it to be something simple, but it was very long, and I don't actually like writing stuff, so not often there will be things on there. I might throw a little synopsis up there for this because I actually did enjoy this movie, and it'd be easy to write about. Yes. All right, so focus. Let's get focused, Boog. You ready?
Yep.
All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk a little bit about the director himself, Mike Flanagan, quickly becoming one of the modern day horror masters. His library of films that he's already been a part of. I'm pretty sure you've seen a decent amount of them. He's done, I guess his first Absentee wasn't bad. You could tell, kind of boring, but you could tell that he got the genre and had potential there. Oculus was his first like big hit, which that one was actually really entertaining. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I can't say I have.
That was pretty good. Then he did Hush, which was that Netflix one with the deaf lady, which that one was pretty good. Actually, it turns out, the lady that plays the main actor, Kate Siegel, he ended up marrying her, and he has a wife or son and daughter with her. So that's pretty cool. I guess if we ever become Hollywood directors, we could have attractive spouses. That's something to strive for.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out of the picture for me, so I don't have that that high hope going.
Okay, hey, I don't. I'm glad you didn't delude yourself there.
Yeah, taking a chill pill.
Then he did Before I Wake, which I didn't see that one. He did Ouija, Origin of Evil, which that one was good. That's the one that takes place because they had done one that wasn't that great, but I know the Origin of Evil was like back in like the 60s. I
was going to say 60s, 70s.
Yeah, you saw that one, right?
One. Yeah, I actually saw that one in theaters.
Yeah, that one was good. Then he did in 2017 Gerald's Game, the adaptation of the Stephen King story, which that one was pretty good.
I actually didn't see that.
That one's tough because the story itself it's entertaining, but it's a little bit slow burn. It's where the husband and wife, they go up to a cabin to spice up their sex life. He like handcuffs her to the bed, and then he has like a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just chained there, and it's about her like, is she hallucinating? Is she not? How's she gonna get out? Like a dog comes and like eats her hand. Pretty nuts. It was good.
I think I saw a parody of that. Was that American Dad that did a parody of it?
I don't know.
Ooh, no, it was actually what I'm thinking of was like what, season 7 of American Horror Story? The one psycho lady. Let me see if I can find
Which one was season 7?
the like the horror house or no
The whorehouse was the first one. The
no,
hotel
I know.
was that the
No, it was no Roanoke.
Oh, okay.
The Roanoke one with the lady that was making a TV series
Yeah, with Cuba
about
Gooding Jr.
about like what's happened in this area, and the one lady who plays the witch goes mentally insane in real life and does this to someone.
Yeah,
Except she doesn't have a heart attack. She just like walks out,
maybe.
becomes like a full blown witch.
Yeah, maybe. I end up so a lot of the times with the American Horror Story, the only seasons I've really truly liked were the first one and the third one. So like the Murder House and the Witch's Coven one, I like that. The other ones I've always given them a chance, but either one or two episodes in it, they lose me. And that Roanoke one lost me pretty early.
Yeah.
Then he also.
Right. I was gonna say the last thing he did that I see on here that he's still doing is the Haunting of Hill House TV series,
which was awesome.
So far, I didn't see it yet. So far,
you're missing out.
It's been through 2018 through present.
Yeah, it means ongoing. Like so. All right, I'll tell you what's going. So he did the Hill House, and then
let's get into
the next season is separate from that, and it's going to be called like the Haunting of Bly House or something, and it's based upon the classic novel The Turning of the Screw, which the big thing with that is the main character. Like I don't know how they're going to portray it. Like I'm sure they'll modernize it, but in the initial story, it's about like a nanny coming in to watch these kids and. Is the house haunted? Is she having hallucinations? Is she psycho? You're not really sure. So there's a lot at play there. So I think they'll do a pretty good job on that. And then obviously he just did Doctor Sleep, which I'll tell you what, a lot of the Stephen King material is hard to adapt, but so far he's 2 for 2 in my book. All right, that's it. Cut it, press it.
Let's do it. Let's.
I don't know if you can tell already, but we're gonna have a lot of good things to say about this. All right, then the plot of this movie. So we start back in 1980, after Danny and his mom escape the Overlook Hotel, like the whole
location of the first Shining.
Yeah, pretty. So just. It doesn't really say, but like a little bit after the first Shining, they moved down to Florida. In the first few scenes, we find out that the ghosts from the haunting, specifically, we see the creepy old ass naked lady. Which, I mean, look, zombie naked lady's creepy enough, but why'd she have to be naked?
Bring up a good point there.
Nobody wants to see that. So it turns out like he's being haunted by that. His mom's concerned for him, and so basically he goes to the park one day, and the ghost. I guess technically he's a ghost as well, but Dick Halloran from the first one. The other guy that did The Shining, that kind of like taught Danny how to do things and like communicated with him. He basically teaches him how to build these like trapper boxes in his mind that anytime like he's visited by one of those ghosts, he can trap them, lock them in his mind so they can't harm him anymore. And
hold on, I think that's too in depth.
No, I mean, I just getting this part out. Like, that's basically, like, this is important to the plot. Bug.
Yeah, but it's too in depth, so it's causing you to say, and.
It's because I'm reading this thing over here. I didn't write the rest of it down. Like, that's the first part I forgot to put in there. So, shut up, Boog. I know I'm struggling through this beginning part, but we gotta get the beginning part out so we can get to the other stuff. So basically, if that's okay with you, Boog.
Yeah.
So after that, so that sets up a key part later on that he can trap these ghosts with these mind boxes. So then we get a cut to the other major players in the movie, the antagonists, which are the True Knot. Basically, they are like psychic vampires. They feed on the steam that's released by other individuals that have the Shining, and they use that to sustain their life. So as long as they're feeding off of people's...
Were we about to get sued by ESPN because my iPad just went off?
I think so. That's great.
It's been a fun run.
So who's suing us this episode? ESPN and the Rolling Stones. What, that great company.
Let's see who contacts us first.
So anyway, these...
We'll let you know in the comments.
So we find out about these vampires led by Rose, and
Rose, played by Rebecca Ferguson.
She's hot for sure.
I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying she has big old titties.
You can't say that.
It's our podcast. I just played ESPN's like theme song. Are you kidding me?
All right, I guess. But yes, she is an attractive woman. But so what I was saying before, basically, if they feed on this steam that's released by individuals with the Shining, and the way they do this is they torture the person. As they torture them, it purifies the steam. So if they said, if the people are afraid or if they're in pain, the steam's stronger, better tasting to them. So this sets the table that there's this group of people out there hunting down people with the Shining. So then we flash forward to 2011. Danny's chosen to suppress his Shining by just drinking copious amounts of alcohol. And this will come into play a little bit later on, but that's how, in the long run, he was able to avoid detection by these psychic vampires, the True Knot. So he basically, instead of embracing the fact that he has this special ability, he just wants to try to block everything out and move on with his life. He decides that it's time for him to get a new start, so he moves up north. I think somewhere like in New Hampshire. Was it New Hampshire? Yeah. I mean, that's irrelevant. He heads north.
It's northeast.
So there he arrives by bus in this town. He meets a man, Billy Freeman, played by Cliff. Is it Cliff Curtis? Let me check here.
Cliff Curtis plays
Cliff
Billy
Curtis,
Freeman.
who good actor. He's been in some things. Remember we went and saw The Meg? That one was
yeah,
a terrible movie, but it was entertaining. It was
so entertaining. If you like
it
sharks,
was so rigid. It was so rigid. If you like sharks, that's the book stamp of approval. If you like sharks, watch it.
If you like sharks, watch. I said, oh no.
All right, so he meets Billy Freeman. Turns out he can relate to Danny. He's a recovering alcoholic. He sets him up with an apartment. Gets him. He, I guess, becomes his AA sponsor. Gets actually. Well, he doesn't technically get him the job, but he leads him to meet a person that gets him a job as this hospice caretaker, which actually leads to the title of the movie, Dr. Sleep. So while he's in the hospice, since Danny's cleaned up, he's actually reconnected with his Shining. So there's this cool scene. Turns out there's this cat that can tell when people are dying. So it'll go to that person's room in the hospice. And then Danny will know, like, oh, it's that person's time. And he'll sit on the bed with them. And Danny uses his abilities to calm the people because they're scared. They don't know what's coming next. Is there anything? And Danny uses that to talk to them in their mind. So things are actually, his life's starting to look up. And about this time, a another individual, a young girl, Abra,
Oh,
Abra,
Abra.
Abra. Oh yeah, because it's like abracadabra. Yeah.
Abracadabra.
Now we're gonna get. Was that the Eagles?
I don't know, man. Hey, if we get sued, I was never part of this. I'm just a little man who lives underneath John's computer, hanging his computer. I'm held captive.
Nobody's sending help for you. No one cares about you, Boog. They made that.
I'm not
They made that
getting sued then.
explicitly clear in the comments.
If I'm not worth saving, I'm not worth being sued over.
That's a good point. I don't think the legal system sees it like that. All right. So anyway, Abra reaches out to him, and it turns out she is an incredibly powerful Shining, even more powerful than Danny when he was a kid. Um, and so they begin communicating through this chalkboard that he has in his apartment. So basically, we flash forward another 8 years. Danny's really cleaned up his act. Some real great acting by Ewan McGregor, especially the scene when they're in the AA meeting. He was talking about how his dad, Jack from the original one, wanted to get sober, and he was there. He reached a 5-month mark, but Danny reached an 8-year mark, and it really goes into depth how his drinking, he always felt like the feelings inside him with the rage and stuff is how the only way he could really connect with his dad. So it's a pretty powerful scene, and like always, Ewan McGregor crushes it. Which, man, that dude should be in more movies.
He should. Yeah, he's a fabulous actor.
Did you see? He's gonna. I think it's a series. No, it's not a movie, a series, but he's coming back as Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm. I did see that. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah,
if it's going to be like how The Mandalorian has been
so far, 2 episodes in, Mandalorian fire.
It's going to be fire. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
All right, so we flash forward to 2019 modern day, and we get the idea that the True Knot, those psychic vampires, they're having issues with locating people with the Shining. They have excuses and stuff like people, they don't really tap into it. They don't really communicate anymore. They got their face in the phone and technology and all that jazz, which makes sense. Like you can't really walk down the street without bumping into someone that's not paying attention on their phone. So they end up locating this kid, the baseball boy. I can't remember what his name is, but he's played by an up and coming actor. This kid's been in a couple things recently. Like he was in that.
His name is Jacob Tremblay.
Okay. Was
Tremblay.
He was there's a recent movie came out. He was in he was Good Boys or something. Yeah, he was. He played the autistic kid in The Predator.
The movie I know him from was Before I Wake. I actually have seen that.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah,
it's actually, so he's worked with Mike Flanagan before.
Decent. Yeah.
So
he's had experience.
I thought that scene was pretty cool. How so that's something in The Shining, the original one. You see, like Danny has The Shining. You can see that he can communicate with Dick Halloran. Like you only get a limited idea of the capabilities of The Shining, but here you see it played out more. Like one of the members of the True Knot, she's considered a pusher. So by the way she talks, like powers of suggestion, she can get people to do stuff. The main one, Rose, she can do these out of body abilities to discover people. So like you see that there's different levels to The Shining, and like the baseball kid, he uses his abilities to he can predict where they're going to throw the ball, and he always gets hits and always gets on the base. So I thought it was pretty cool to show that there's different levels to The Shining there.
Yeah, he's able to use it in his favor to judge where the pitch is going to be thrown, so he can always hit the ball. And he's 9 years old in this, and he has people from people scouting him already. Like that's insane.
Yeah. So pretty much, unfortunately for him, the True Knot notice. They kidnap him, and while they're torturing him to get his steam, it somehow connects with Abra. She realizes and she sees the True Knot, and she sees where this kid's buried. So she tries to reach out to Danny. She actually goes up and visits him, and that's the first time they meet in person. And his advice, instead of being receptive and everything, is like, go home. Like, don't ever try to look for these people again. If they know you're out there, they're gonna come find you. Like, this isn't worth it. Like, don't do it. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. So eventually, Rose is aware at the time that she was, they called it a looker. Like, she had seen what they had done to the boy. So she actually, through her astral projection, finds Abra, goes into her house, but she underestimates how strong she is. So she actually, like, gets into Rose's mind and starts messing with her. And there's a real cool scene there where she jams her hand into this filing drawer, and she pulls it out and actually like fillets the skin off her hand. And great special effects, but something about like skin peeling on the hands. Ugh. Like, it's
cringy. It's definitely a cringe moment. It's well worth it though.
Yeah,
it's
great effects. Yeah. So it kind of shows how powerful Abra is. So after that, we cut back to Danny. He's still working. He's going about his life working at the hospice there. One night the cat goes to a door and he says like, "Hey, like, you must got your wires crossed. There's no one in there." And so he goes in there and Dick Halloran's back. Dick lets him know like, "Hey, this is the last time that I'm going to see you. But you need to help this girl. Like, I was a mentor to you. I had a mentor. Like, you have to help her out. Like, she's going to be in danger. She doesn't know." Like, so he reaches out to her, and they determine that if they're able to get the baseball glove that the kid had, while he's being tortured and stuff like that, they can locate him. So they go up there, they get that, and then that leads into the last section, which we're going to save for the spoiler section there. So if you don't want to be spoiled, we'll put a timestamp where you can, which I figured out how to do, Book. I can do the timestamps now to skip ahead from the spoilers. And it leads to a pretty wild ending. And yeah, that's pretty much what we got to say about that right now there. So basically, if we want to take a second here, and then we'll go into the spoilers. Before we get into the spoilers, as far as the plot, everything like that, how'd you feel about the story, Bug?
About the story, I thought it was fantastic, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the type of films where it's relatively long. I actually never checked to see the time. It's over 2 hours, right?
I believe so. I actually never checked the time either. Let's see if I have it. 152 minutes. So yeah, it's almost let me do some math.
Almost 2.5 hours. Yeah. We can't do math. God damn it, Bug.
Yeah, about 2.5 hours.
That's the thing, though, is you can tell if you're in a good film. If you are watching it and you don't realize how much time passes by, and this is so engaging that you're into it, that you don't realize all that time goes by. You think it's been an hour at most, and that's why I like when I come out of the movie theater. Like, I don't like to be disoriented. Like, whoa, I've been in here for a couple hours, but I like it when you're so engaged in the story that you kind of lose yourself in time, and this definitely has that. The other thing, if you really think about it, a lot of times with horror sequels, it's tough, especially something that's so standalone like the initial Shining, especially something that's like a masterpiece like that, to make a sequel. You'd think that maybe someone might pick a different family and they go back to the Overlook Hotel and similar things happen and maybe try to like recapture some of that magic of the original, but like not really live up to it. They did something unique here. where you see how the characters' lives go on, but they still tell a different, interesting story that really does the original justice. All right, so spoilers. Should I put a cool? I'll put a cool sound effect in there, like spoilers.
Spoilers.
That's more notes than I know how to do on a synthesizer. So
you don't have to know how to. You just have to hit random keys, and hopefully it sounds good.
I just do like one of those like sweeps, like. All right. Anyway, on to spoilers. So
what's one of those like that like bell whistle like?
Yeah. So Danny and Bill, they go up to the burial site. Was it Iowa? I don't know.
Like what do you mean where they buried the boy,
the baseball boy? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Iowa.
Yeah, so they
go. Doesn't say exactly where. It just says Iowa.
Yeah, so like out in the middle of this abandoned field. So with the help,
cornfield.
Yeah, with the help of Abra, she was uses the shining projecting, and Bill kind of believes Danny. There's no way for him to really prove it, and like you get some good scenes where he's like, "There's two sides to this. Like we go there and we dig this up, and the boys there like." One, like the first thing is we go to dig this up, there's nothing here, like you're pretty much crazy, and he's like, I can deal with that. But the second option, we dig that boy up and he is here, and he's like, we got something much worse, there's like evil psychic vampires out, which I don't blame him. Like imagine trying to comprehend that. Like I think I would have think about that a little bit differently. Like I would think maybe like Danny killed the boy and buried him there and then just trying to cover it up, but I don't know. Like he that Bill dude was a good friend, good bud.
Yeah, I thought.
Like imagine if I came to you and was like, "Hey man, it's a crazy story. I got this psychic power. This psychic girl like reached out to me, and these vampires murdered this kid here. Like let's go dig him up and see." What would you say?
Yeah, that would be like. So I'm just gonna make a quick pit stop to get my gun, to go get some police people, and you just sit tight. We'll go find that whatever you're looking for.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. That's all I just whisper to you. I'm gonna get you, buddy. You can't hide real long.
Why would you be whispering at me? That's weird.
That's
weirder than the Shining.
It intensifies the scene.
Okay.
Every day of my life, I act like I'm in a movie.
All right, cool.
The worst is when I'm taking a dump and there's cameras on me. Ugh.
Why do you have cameras in your bathroom?
You don't?
Yeah, some places that's a crime. I think most places.
Well, my household, it's a regular occurrence.
God. All right, back to it. So they dig him up. They find his body. They get the glove, and they drive back. Well, they make a pit stop first to pick up. Billy has some old hunting rifles. Pick those up. They go and actually go to Abra's house. At first, her dad's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing talking to my like 12, 13-year-old kid? And justifiably so. But the daughter stops him and then like mentally shows him what happened. The dad's all like shook up, like obviously he just saw that there are psychic vampires and his daughter knows all this crazy shit that's going on. But they get her to touch the glove, and they're able to figure out where the people are heading. They realize they're heading to the house, so they set up this like elaborate plan. Even though we're doing spoilers, not going too far into it, it mostly works. But the vampires are able to play a trick, and due to the aftermath, the only people that are left are initially Danny, Abra, who gets kidnapped by the number 2 for the True Knot, which Crow Daddy's his name. He kidnaps her, is taking her on the car to take her back to Rose. So only Rose and Crow Daddy are left from the True Knot. And then Danny, he's off at this separate place where a crazy shootout went down, where he's the only one left versus the other crew. Even Billy gets killed in this crazy scene. where one of the people used the Shining to actually force him to kill himself, which sucks because he was a cool character. And so Danny taps into a power he's never done before, and he actually projects himself through Abra to figure out where they're going, and he is able to channel his power through her because she was drugged and wasn't able to use her powers, and actually wreck the car and kill the Crow Daddy. So it's just down. The only one left is that Rose. So he devises a plan. Danny does, picks up Abra, and they're gonna go back to the Overlook Hotel from the original Shining, which would seem like a cheap, like nostalgia trip, but they do it in a very interesting way that it doesn't feel cheap. So basically, the idea is, when Danny was a kid, he was like a conduit. He was like a battery that brought the Overlook alive. All the restless spirits, evil energy there, channeled through him. They fed off him, and so if anyone with the Shining comes in there, they're immediately going to be like trying to like use their energy, and it's bad news for anyone with the Shining. So he knows how that would affect them. And he thinks it might be even worse if they get Rose to come after them there. So he decides they're going to make their final stand at the Overlook. So not even going, like, I know it's spoilers, but I really want people to see it, so not going too crazy into it. But some cool scenes where the ghosts get unlocked from Danny's mind and they attack Rose. Danny gets possessed and reminiscent of his dad in the first one, going around with the axe. And basically it ends with the Overlook Hotel being destroyed. Unfortunately, Danny passes away, and Abra has come to terms with the Shining, and she's not going to hide anymore. She's going to embrace it because she realizes, and it's something that Rose says, is they believe, like, Danny says to her, like, this is it, you're the last one. And she basically says, like, you think I'm the last one? She's like, I'm just the best looking one. Like, there's others else out like that out there. But even though Danny dies, he visits her as a ghost at the end, lets her know it's all right. Life goes on after you're dead. But basically, he lets her know, like, hey, like, a time's gonna come where you're gonna have to mentor someone. Like, there's still, yeah, there might be these scary evil people out there, but there's also good people like her out there. So it gives you hope. And then it ends with the music from the original one, that old, like, parlor music. I forget what the song is, but great movie, great film.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really helping out here.
I'm participating, waiting for the overall.
Oh, I almost forgot to another key part. So, of Danny really, like, passing something on. So, as at the final scene, as Abra is gonna walk downstairs, she realizes that the ghosts, because they're still set free from the Overlook Hotel, that creepy naked ass old titty bitch is in the shower. And then you find out that Danny actually taught her how to do the mind box trick. So she goes in there to lock up the ghosts, so you know that she'll be all right. And any of those ghosts that try to reach out to her, because once you're in the Overlook, they have a connection to you, and they're going to keep coming unless you do something about them. So she has that ability now as well. And that's it for the spoilers. Spoilers!
You have been spoiled.
I'll keep that in. That's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's okay. Cool.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, so I'll let you go first on this next one because I went first last time. We'll take turns like that. We're nice. So on to our pros and cons. What do we like about it? What could be better? You know the drill.
First thing that I liked, and it's kind of an obvious one for me at least, it's something I really didn't expect with the film, was the scene where I forget her name. Rose was like astral projecting herself to go see Abra and see where she is so they can like go find her.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed, and it was completely out of the blue for me. Like I did not expect this ever. When when Abra was able to trick her and like pretty much like catch hold to her or like trap her for a little bit, her hand got stuck in like a what are
It was
those
a
things called?
filing
File
cabinet.
cabinet. Yeah, her hand got
Yeah,
stuck
so
in the file cabinet.
basically when she went into her mind, like her memories and everything like that, they were personified by like just rows and rows of filing cabinets with documents in there, like segmented like memories, like about her parents, where she lives, all that stuff. And Rose thought, like, you know what, like this will be easy. I'll be able to pull this file. I'll know all your information, all your fears, stuff like that. So when we come from you, you won't stand a chance.
Yeah, so what I liked about it was out of the blue. I didn't think that was like something that gruesome was going to happen. So when she's trapped in there, she's really she gets scared because she's never had this happen to her before. No one's ever been more powerful than her shine, shall
Mm-hmm.
we say. So it was really awesome, one, to see how distressed she was, how she was willing to rip the skin off of her own hand to get out of that situation, to be able to run away from what she got herself into.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was I just didn't think that was going to happen, you know? Like you have a 9-year-old kid versus, I don't know, 30, 40-year-old lady who's probably been doing this since she was her age, so has 30 years of experience on her. Like just seeing that, I was actually really surprised how well that actually worked out and how truly terrifying that scene was, for not only Rose but also for myself personally.
But I agree with it. That was because up until that point, you know that she's portrayed as extremely powerful, and you've seen what the True Knot can do, and how ruthless they are, and it's like a whole team of people with Shining versus taking on like little kids.
Yeah,
But then to
exactly.
truly see how powerful Abra was, like you realize, like whoa, like this girl is
Uh,
wild.
up and up until that point, you don't actually see any like anything real gruesome. Like you see the old naked lady, which is like terrifying in her own like means, but
Mm-hmm.
the scariest or the most grotesque part about this movie up until that point was when they were killing the boy, stabbing him to
Mm-hmm.
making him scream to get the
The
mist or the
steam,
fog, the
yeah,
steam out of his mouth. And even in that scene, they don't actually show you them stabbing the kid. They just show arm going down, blood splatter up. That's all you see, and they zoom in on the kid's face to show him screaming. Which so like I said, because of that, it's just out of place. I mean, like you actually see skin peel away from her hand, her was it her right ring finger,
yeah.
and you can see down to her
Yeah,
bones. You
the
can
effect,
see the tendon.
the
Like
special effect on that was done really well, and
it
was
was
like
amazing.
it sends shivers down your spine. It's like, oh, because you could like feel that happening to your hand. Like, oh,
Yes,
yeah, that was done really
yes.
well.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead with one of yours. That's one of mine.
All right, one of mine, and I know we talked about this as soon as we left the theater, but the music, done by I believe it was the Newton brothers. Which, hey, shout out to them. I posted on our Twitter page at HorrorVision. If you want to give it a follow, a little plug there. But
Link, like, subscribe, subscribe, link, like. We'll be here every week.
million
Link,
million
link me,
weeks.
link me.
Anyway, so I posted about how much we enjoyed the movie, after we left there, and they actually liked my post there. So thanks, guys. But no, they did a phenomenal job mixing some of the old, like the what's the best way to describe it, like the ominous
Like the
music, like
original,
bah, yeah,
yeah,
mixing that
the
with
original
with
ominous soundtrack from the 1980 Shining film.
yeah, as well as with new background music and stuff that they put in. Like it really set the tone. It was spot on. Like it puts it puts you in the scene, and especially this is the one that you brought up when we were leaving the theater, when they're driving up the mountain finally back to the Overlook Hotel. It's like there was so much ominous dread. They're coming up the mountain, going through the tunnel, and it's just the bum bum bum. It's like, oh, awesome.
Yeah, driving up to the Overlook Mansion. I mean, they used some of the shots that were in the previous film in 1980, but you can tell they were edited or just redone completely, because they were a lot better graphical wise.
Well, I guess if you bring up that point, that was actually going to be one of my cons, and it's not necessarily like we'll take you out of it. It's just, so I thought the actress that portrayed, so this is something I like, because in Hollywood, it's weird to me now when they either de-age someone, or, well, not even de-aging so much as when they use, like in Rogue One, when they de-aged Leia, like, it was still a little bit weird, but it wasn't that bad because she was still alive at the time. But when they use actors that have already passed away, like they used who was the dude that played? He's famous horror guy that played Grand Moff Tarkin, I believe it was.
Ouch.
Not Christopher Lee. Why am I drawing a blank? This dude's super famous. Played Dracula in the Hammer films.
Vilhoff Tarkin.
Well, that's the character he plays, but it's
that's the guy he plays. That's not his actual name. Oh, Star Wars character.
Oh, I have to pull this up because it'll kill
Played
me.
by Peter
Cushing. Peter Cushing. God, that's so terrible that you call it Peter Cushing. That would not be a bad porn name though. if you get into that, Peter Gushing.
That's not the part of Hollywood I want to get into, John. I'm just gonna lay that on the line now.
Yeah, super famous horror actor, but he'd been dead for years, and it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. You look at it, and it's like weird. But I thought so. I liked the kid that played Danny. I liked how instead of them actually de-aging or trying to use those like deep fake, like put their face on them, they actually just went and they got different actors that look similar. Like, I like that. I thought the mom fit in really well. Danny did, but Jack Nicholson's such a famous face, and that portrayal is like one of the greatest horror performances all time. That I'm not saying that. What was his name? Because I'll give him some respect here. Henry. Was that Henry Thomas? Was that right? It says Henry Thomas on his IMDb, but that doesn't look like him at all. I guess kinda.
Henry Thomas, yeah, that's him.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like him because
he doesn't.
In the
film,
he has like widow peak.
Yeah, and there's a little bit where his voice kind of, but he doesn't reach those. Like when Jack did it, you can hear the crazy in his voice, and he almost reaches it, but he doesn't. It doesn't really take you out of it, but you wish that it was Jack Nicholson there. But Jack Nicholson's so old, they'd have to do some of that type of de-aging on him. I'm sure it would cost an exuberant amount to get him in that film. But that was the only little gripe, literally on my list of cons, like little gripes, like tiny, like it didn't take it. It's not a big deal. It's just that was the only one that was like, because that's a cool scene when he comes to the bar and the bartender is his dad in the Overlook Hotel. I thought that was pretty cool. And they had that conversation about alcohol, and that's one of the major themes, is like how it can mess your life up, and you can choose to break that cycle. So I thought that was pretty cool, but like the fact that it wasn't Jack Nicholson's, like that's hard shoes to fill. He didn't do a bad job. Henry Thomas didn't do a bad job, but it's
big shoes. I mean,
yeah.
It's big shoes to fill, and
I guess while we're on the cons, the only other little one I had, obviously it's the title of the book, and it makes sense in the story how he was referred to the patients as Dr. Sleep. He helps them pass on by pretty much talking them to sleep using The Shining. But I feel like by naming it Dr. Sleep, there's a lot of casual fans that don't realize that this is a sequel to The Shining, and this is a phenomenal movie. And if you actually look at the numbers box office wise, it made more than its budget, but then you got to factor in marketing, which I mean technically they didn't do a super lot of marketing, but it's going to be seen by the studio as a commercial failure, which is sad because this is a phenomenal movie. So I thought maybe if there was like if it was called Doctor Sleep, The Shining, or even it was like, which I kind of don't like either, The Shining parentheses Doctor Sleep or something like, I don't know. I don't know how you do it, but there had to be a little bit more referenced, or we could get with the name that we came up with, The Shining 2, Shine On.
Or the
Shiny,
shiniest.
shiniest would be the third one.
Oh,
I mean, it's such a little gripe
what's
because the Doctor Sleep is a cool name, but I just feel like it sucks because when a studio, the way the studio won't see that, hey, Mike Flanagan made an excellent movie. Like the fans will, the people in the industry that know, they'll respect that. But as a studio executive that dishes out the budgets, that approves projects, is going to see, oh, this Stephen King property, it lost us money. Not that they made a phenomenal movie, and I think in the long run this will gain traction, like on home video, streaming, things like that. But like studios don't work in the most logical way. They only see dollar signs, so that's kind of upsetting. Where if it's not making the money that they want, like obviously, when you make a Stephen King movie nowadays, everybody wants the box office of the first It Chapter 1 that came out a few years ago that just broke all the records. They think, oh, it's Stephen King property, horror movie, we want that. But I will assure you 100% this movie, and I liked It Chapter 1 for what it was, and It Chapter 2, like they're entertaining, but they don't compare to this. Like this is crazy to say, this movie's a borderline masterpiece too. Like it's a, it's hard justifying making sequels to classic movies, but this movie stands on its own and is justifiably made. Like this deserved to be made, and unfortunately, with the way it looks like the box office and the budget, like studios are going to be less likely to take chances like this moving forward, even though an excellent product was made. But it's unfortunate. Did you got any other pros or cons?
I do, which is just a comment on what you just said. I do not think this movie was greater than the first It movie, It Chapter 1. To me, like the movie It, the book It
No,
is
don't. No, don't. We're talking about movies, books, movies separate. I read the book Doctor Sleep, and I thought it was okay. If I had to rate the book, like 7 out of 10, like it was interesting, but it wasn't. This movie is a lot better than the book itself. I mean, even Stephen King, he loved this adaptation, but so we're not looking at like the source material. We're looking movie itself. Doctor Sleep is a better movie than It Chapter 1. You can like both of them, but you got to take a look how this is developed. And this was actually something I was going to talk about more, like with the pros a little bit. Like you got the classic music, the camera work. It was phenomenal. Like that's something that's hard to live up to as well, because the original Shining, like Kubrick's angles, the way that he frames scenes, like nobody does that. He's so meticulous with that. And what I like the most is they didn't try to replicate that, say like we got to do this, film this angle. They did their own thing, but they still were respectful to the original. Like when you come back into the Overlook, you felt like you're there again. They didn't have those like crazy establishing shots that Kubrick did, but they did it justice, and that's something I respect. It's incredibly hard to do, but the music, the camera work, in the story itself, it felt something new, something fresh, and just a solid follow up to the original there. So I don't have any issues. It's not like put 1 and 2. I'll watch any one of those movies any day. At Chapter 1, Doctor Sleep, but this movie, in my opinion, like It Chapter 1, great popcorn flick, great movie to watch in the theaters, but Doctor Sleep's like a genuinely quality movie.
all right. Oh, we'll just move ahead.
Well, it's subjective too. Like I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
No,
like,
I know. I'm not like saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just saying, just to
you
cut
better.
down on
You better not be. I'll cut every line out in this podcast of you. It'll just be me talking with awkward pauses. I don't care. I don't give a fuck, bug. I'll do it to you.
Jeez. Well, now
did you have any other pros or cons?
Two. First one, and I always mess it up his name. I want to say Ian, but it's what
Ewan.
is it? Ewan. Yeah, it's just a weird one for me. I don't say that name a lot. Ewan McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Fan freaking tastic.
Yes, dude.
Fantastic job.
There was one part I remember we were in the theater, and I think it was this monologue at the AA meeting when I said, like, dude, this guy needs to be in more things.
I mean, it was just so perfectly done. Like, you can feel his emotion when he was talking, how he was comparing himself to his father, and how he was able to accomplish something that his father has never done by becoming 8 years sober.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking about, like, how his father would be proud of where he was now for the both of them. And for the both of them, because of where he was, he said thank you to the people there that helped him get through this. Like, it was just a beautiful scene.
Well acted.
It was very well acting, like raw emotion. Like, it was insane. And because of him alone, I'd say this movie is worth watching.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he should.
I think the acting in general, everyone they got, even the little girl. Sometimes you have issues with kid actors. Like, excellent job. Her parents were believable. His buddy Billy Friedman, that Cliff Curtis, excellent job too. Like, you generally were a little bit upset when he died. Like, he.
Yeah, I was actually really upset when he died. I wanted him to live. Like, he just kind of got caught up in everything and just kind of turned on him, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sucks. But that's good storytelling, great acting. Like, it'll pull you into a story like this, and this one really pulls you in.
If Ewan McGregor continues his rules or continues to follow horror film rules, I wouldn't doubt he would be probably one of the best horror actors out there. Right now, in my opinion, the best horror actor out there is Patrick Wilson from the Conjuring movies, the Insidious movies. He was just in the new Stephen King movie on Netflix, Into the Tall Grass.
Yeah, I do like Patrick Wilson.
I think he's fantastic, but of course, if Ewan McGregor continues, I no doubt in my mind that he'd pass him up.
Well, I have his IMDb pulled up here, and his next movie's got to be garbage.
What's his next movie?
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. He plays Black Mask, which is like real important, like Batman character. But you saw the previews of that movie looks like a dumpster fire.
Didn't you hear that's the peace treaty between the Chinese government and China? That's what they're just sending it right over, uncut, unedited. Here you go, China. Take it or leave it. Oh. It's a peace treaty.
Well, looks like that's not going to solve anything. All right, so you got anything else there before we get to our recommendations and ratings?
Two. One like, one dislike. One like, this is the first movie that gave me chills since the chapter one. It chapter one was iconic for me because from reading the book, it had so many good scenes that were perfectly portrayed in the film. And this here has the same scenes in it. So I've never read Doctor Sleep, but I read The Shining multiple times. And to me, The Shining is a fantastic book. And the scenes that they reenacted from the first movie in this gave me chills. Like I said, when they're going up to the hotel, it was fantastic. If a movie's able to give you chills, to me, it's a fabulous movie, and I recommend it to anyone who could afford to see it or in the future just see it. You know, the one dislike, and I disagree with you on this one. That the little girl, her name was Kylie Curran.
Mm-hmm.
She was a young lady, played Abra. I actually didn't like her that much. And I told you this last night after leaving the theater.
Yeah, and I had to disagree
was,
with you because you said she was almost a little bit cold, like emotionless. But if you think back to the original Shining, Danny, when he was young in The Shining, because you don't really know, you can't really relate to people. Like she had issues, like she couldn't talk to her parents about it. Like they were a little bit of aware, but they looked at her differently. So she was so self conscious that like she can't really interact. Like her only really friend she can interact with was Danny, and she even says that when they meet, she thought for the longest time that he was imaginary, kind of like how
Tony was to
in the
Danny.
original.
Yeah.
So I thought that
No,
was
but
actually really well. That paralleled Danny in the original Shining.
so that part does, but there's scenes in the movie where she's like smiling, she's like giddy, like
Yeah,
when she sees Dan,
but
when she
there's
like
times when she
hears Dan's
finally
voice and
realizes
talks
that,
to him.
there's people like her out there, and that she genuinely feels like she's doing good because of how terrible these people are. Like I could say, I don't know. I thought she did a good job, but
I think she did good, but it wasn't great. There's like I wanted like it's right how you said she did a good job portraying how Danny was in the original film, but there's some times where she just like let loose too much, and I would have preferred her to like bottle that up.
I guess
And
I
I
don't know.
just,
I stay agree to disagree.
yeah, that's
All
all I
right,
can say.
moving on. So this is what I'm gonna do for the spoilers. I'll have it just come down to recommendations because we did go into some spoilers there as well. But recommendations. I would highly recommend this for any type of horror fan, anyone that's into any drama, likes good storytelling. Um, there's enough here for pretty much everyone. If you're coming in looking for some popcorn action film, like maybe not for you, but there is enough action in here, and there is a little bit some slower parts as far as progressing like the plot and stuff. But in general, if you're a horror fan, go see this. You'll be doing yourself a real disservice if you don't. I'd give this one a 9 out of 10. It's one of the best horror movies I've seen in some time.
I'd say probably the same about the same audience. Any horror fan, any movie fan, any like anyone who wants to be freaked out but have an enjoyable movie with a good happy ending. I
That's what I
recommend this
like too.
film
Is there's
too.
not really any cheap scares in there. Like you're not getting unjustly jumps. Like that's my biggest thing. Just jump scares for jump scares purpose and stuff like that. Like it's just real. Like they're the real terror that comes from like built tension and like the levity of like the scenes. Like it's worth your time for sure.
There were jump scares, but it wasn't like the traditional jump scares where like you see the camera turned real fast. You see
Yeah,
the
that's what.
ghost's arm out of the corner. It wasn't anything like that. It was like silly jump scares, like camera slowly panning,
Yeah, it was. That's why I felt it wasn't like
and then someone just
unjust.
turns a corner and it's like, hi, like
That goes back with the camera work I've seen when they come down that hallways. Like I think back to the original, like the claustrophobic, like they're trapped up in the Overlook Hotel and they're snowed in, and it's the claustrophobia of being in that enclosed place and the film work. And they did that really well when they're coming down the hallway and the camera stays with them just as they turn the corner, and you're turning the corner with them. Like you feel like you're in the Overlook with them. Like just the way they were able to do that, I loved it.
yeah, absolutely. For my rating of the movie, though, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a great movie. Uh, I will recommend it to anyone and everyone who asked about it. There's a few things that I didn't like, of course, that I addressed,
Yeah,
but the good outweighs the bad in the situation, and it is an excellent film.
oh for sure. All right, so I guess it's time for some news. You got some news?
I don't got news, but I do have a question, and you kind of addressed it earlier.
What the fuck, dude? I told you to look up some news articles.
I told you I didn't find it. I don't know. Here, let me just. All right, news on Google. Let's see
No,
what.
stop here. You say what you're gonna do, and I'll get us the news articles.
Well, the question that I was going to ask here was, um, the original characters from the Shining 1980 Shining movie were portrayed by new actors in this. Would you rather
they
see
were,
them?
but in certain flashbacks, they were the original one. I mean, I felt like they did a good job of blending it.
Yes, but would you rather have them, the actors be pure CGI or just new actors playing those roles?
I already said that before in my
I
critique with
know.
that Jack. I 100% I agree with their use the new actors, and I'm not saying the only gripe I had with that. I thought the mom was perfectly cast, young Danny was perfectly cast, and I'm not saying that the guy that played Jack wasn't cast right, but like you can't. It's almost impossible to live up to Jack Nicholson's shoes. So like he was good. He was just not to that level.
Yeah. I get that. I feel like I had another question, but I can't remember at this time.
All right, so on to the news here. So I know the big news in the past week or so um, is that, and this is coming from, I guess every website's reporting this, but basically the rights to Scream were purchased by another studio, and there's going to be another Scream. Right now, people don't know if it's going to be Scream 5 or if it's going to be a reboot. I mean, the one article I just clicked on, this is dumb. Like, obviously, the title of the article is Scream 5 without Wes Craven would be a mistake. I guess I get what they're saying there, but at the same time, like, if you're going to do another Scream ever, it has to be without Wes Craven. He's dead.
If they bought the rights, it's going to happen too.
Yeah,
So.
it's going to happen. They've already done Screams without him, which were not the TV series. Like, the first series they had was like they didn't even have the rights to The Mask, and it was like a cheesy like teen drama on MTV. And then they had the other limited series that took forever to come out, which was the VH1 one, which was some of the biggest pile of garbage I've ever wasted time on. But I guess right now, so one of the more recent articles says that there is rumors that it's going to be a sequel, not a reboot, and that the original cast is actually being pursued. So these are just rumors. This one's coming from bleedingcool.com.
Stay tuned for updates.
I'm punching you right in the mouth next time I see you.
Come at me, bro.
Kids,
Come
violence. Moral of this podcast is violence is sometimes the answer. And in this case, definitely. But the studio that did purchase it was Spyglass Entertainment. I know a lot of people were hoping that Blumhouse would have gotten that. They did a pretty solid job with the new Halloween. At least they had like the care and stuff in it. I honestly, the more I think about it, didn't like the new Halloween that much, but it looked good, and they got the mask right, so those are big steps. But it is going to Spyglass Entertainment, and obviously Wes Craven won't be involved, the original director, and Kevin Williamson will not write. So basically, it's up in the air if it's going to be a reboot or a sequel. Rumor is they are pursuing the original cast. My thoughts on this: I enjoyed Scream 1 and 2 and 4. I liked 4, but 3. I mean, pretty much, in my opinion, really the only generally. I think we did talk about this last time. On Crawl. All those months ago. Now I think about it, how they were talking about possibly doing the Scream sequel, but I said it then, I'll say it now. The only truly good Scream was the first one. That first one was phenomenal, but third one was trash. But in my opinion, I mean, if you can get a good story, and you really have to, because in a lot of ways, with Scream being like a meta style horror, you have to tie it into that generation, what's going on in society at that time. Like, there's a lot of cool different avenues that you could portray that nowadays, but you'd have to have a very, very strong script, which I think would be hard to do. If they did it right, it would be awesome, but I don't have the highest hopes for this. But you know as well as I that we will go see this.
Let's see here. I actually have one for you. Did you know they're making The Conjuring 3?
Yeah, they've been making that for a while.
just pretend you didn't, because this is my story and I need to talk about it.
You can still talk about it even though I know about it.
They're making The Conjuring 3, guys.
Oh, breaking news.
We did it.
We broke something.
And he comes back in the picture is my boy Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, your boy Patrick Wilson said this is going to be a different beast.
Don't quote him on that.
I don't.
Please.
Did you see the last Annabelle? Was it Annabelle Creation?
I gotta remember.
In some ways, that one kind of felt like another Conjuring. Like obviously it's in the universe, but they were in it. What was it? The Warrens. So it kind of.
I think it's real brief.
Yeah, but it felt like a kind of continuation. The last two Annabelles were good. Annabelle, what was it? Creation.
About one earlier.
Yeah, there's Creation
and
Origin. Yeah, the one that was on the farmhouse was like the best of the Annabelle. So that last one was pretty solid.
Anyway, the Conjuring.
I got high hopes. The first two Conjurings phenomenal.
The first one was phenomenal. The second one was phenomenal. The third one, we'll see how it goes. If it follows the same storyline,
yeah, of course you're gonna see how it goes. But what were you gonna say? First one phenomenal, second one phenomenal, third one trash. Third one's not even out yet.
Well, no, if it goes off the same, like based on a true story, like the first and second one, it has high hopes for me. Anything that it says based on a true story freaks me out.
It's because you're an idiot. Because those are all
into my world.
They've all been debunked.
Safe.
Like the Warrens were frauds, dude.
We'll leave that.
People can trick you on anything.
Anyway, so we have 297 days, 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 52 seconds until The Conjuring 3 comes out on September 11th, 2020.
Oh. You know what? I read this IGN article says that Conjuring star teases werewolf villain for the third film. You know I'm a big werewolf guy. So that'll be. I mean, we'll definitely see that one.
The site that I'm on also says Scream 5 rumored to be in development. That's what it's describing. It's not saying, they're saying it's a sequel.
Yeah. Well, they no one really knows, but
I know. But this website, I'm just saying, this website says it's going to be Scream 5.
All right. So the website's the end all be all. Well, slap you. All right, one last one here. We'll wrap this up.
Welcome to upcominghorrormovies.com.
Wrapping this one up. So for the holiday season, Joe Dante's classic Gremlins is going to be back in the theaters for a week. It says in 4DX, so I'm not sure what that is, but let's see here. I guess it's like one of those like XD style things, but hopefully if it's playing anywhere around us, I'd definitely go see it. So between December 5th and December 11th, the Gremlins will be back in theaters. And I don't know about you, I've always been a big fan of the Gremlins. First one, second one. I loved how like goofy the second one was with like Hulk Hogan and stuff. But the first one's actually a great like more serious style horror movie. But great. That's a great time too. It's there really isn't too many holiday style. Maybe we'll do a review of that in December because it's always thin. Like I was thinking of a few, like maybe do the Krampus. I like that. You ever see the Krampus?
I actually have not.
Oh, you're missing. I saw it in theaters. That's a good one. We'll do, and there's a couple other. I think like Black. I'd rather do the original Black Christmas because this new one coming out looks pretty bad. But maybe if we don't got too much going on, we'll go check that out. And like it always gets busy around the holiday season, but yeah, definitely that'll be something we'll look into. Maybe we'll go and actually see it in theaters. Gremlins. So anyone interested, December 5th through the 11th, Gremlins back in theaters. Check your local listings.
Don't quote us on that. I'm not getting sued by you too.
All right, so that looks like that's it for us. This one I felt like went a lot better. If it didn't, let us know. We are very receptive to comments, suggestions, pretty much all kinds of stuff like that. We'll keep work on
because I cannot read.
I'm not giving out your phone number, Boog.
No, I'm going to give out your phone number. Hold on one second.
I'll just edit it out, Boog. You know I edit this. I'll just edit your phone number. I'll literally, whatever you read, I'm going to edit in your phone number. All right. So anyway, if you want to reach out to us, we're really receptive. Main one, send us an email, huntershorrorvision@gmail.com. Huntershorrorvision@gmail.com. You could check out, we sometimes write reviews, just general ramblings and stuff on our blog space. So if you want to stop in there, check out some other articles about things we've seen. That's also huntershorrorvision.wixsite, wixsite.com/horror. As well as, I mean, if you're listening to the podcast, you don't really need to know where to find it, but we are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. So anywhere there's podcasts, you could find us. Tell your friends, subscribe, whatever. And yeah, if any things, any reviews you want to see, anything like that, anything at all, just send us an email. I'll give you Boog's home address, his phone number, anything you want there as well too.
I'll edit this out.
You won't. You don't even know how that works.
I'll find a way. I'll YouTube. Come on, it's YouTube it. Are you kidding me?
Well, I don't understand. I don't understand how you would YouTube going and editing something that's recorded on my computer.
I'll YouTube it. I'll find a way.
All right.
Yeah,
Good luck.
No, just like I know where you live. I'll just sneak into your house.
Yeah. Good luck.
Dude, just don't keep your door unlocked tonight.
Look, what are you? You're 6'5", right? 6'6".
Boy, yeah.
6'6".
6'5", 6'6".
6'6". How are you gonna be sneaking around 6'6"? What do you Jason Voorhees? Just gonna like magically pop up?
No, see the trick is to get on your hands and knees and crawl. And if you crawl fast enough, no one can catch you. That is how it's done.
Okay.
All I'm saying is like, be afraid.
All right. Well, that's it for us. I mean, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I enjoyed putting this out here. Definitely go see this movie. Well, you got any last comments here?
Yeah.
What's on your mind, buddy?
Let's start over. Hi, I'm Dylan Boog. I'm the man that lives in John's computer.
Good. Hey, good night. So long and good night.
The news has been delivered.
The news was before, you idiot. Bye.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.